Hello and welcome my friends to my YouTube channel, philippospan. Weekly tips and tricks on how to work with Microsoft Office applications. Today's video will be about Microsoft Excel.
How to create a PowerPivot table in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. With a pivot table in Microsoft Excel, we can quickly summarize large amounts of data. Besides summarizing, we can analyze the available data in detail so we can be ready to answer questions that has got to do with the data. In a few words, pivot tables are designed for querying large amounts of data in a way that it is easy and accessible to everyone. I have inserted data in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. We then need to convert the data into a table. We can select the range of cells from before, or Excel will recognize a range of cells and select it on its own. Whatever we decide, we then must select the Insert tab, and then from the left to locate the area of the ribbon named Tables, and select the command Table, where we can. Create a table to organize and analyze related data. Tables make it easy to sort, filter, and format data with a sheet. We then select the command and the Create Table dialog box appears, where the range of cells is automatically selected. We activate the checkbox next to the command My table has headers, if we do have headers, and if we agree with the selected range, we just press the OK button to proceed. The table is created, where we notice that the Table Design tab is activated. Once a table is still selected, we activate the Insert tab once more, and from the left area of the ribbon named Tables, we select the command Pivot Table, where we can easily arrange and summarize complex data in a pivot table. For your information, you can double-click a value to see which detailed values make up the summarized total. Once the Pivot Table command is selected, the Pivot Table from Table or Range dialog box appears where we can select a table or range. We just select the table or the range of cells that we want the pivot table to be created from. Choose where we want the pivot table to be placed. We can then select to place the pivot table in a new worksheet or an existing worksheet by activating the appropriate checkboxes. Location. If we select the existing worksheet, the location text box gets activated, where we must specify the location for the pivot table. Finally, we choose whether we want to analyze multiple tables and activate the checkbox next to the command Add this data to the data module and then press the OK button. The Pivot Table Analyze tab gets activated, and the Pivot Table Fields task pane appears at the right of the spreadsheet, ready for use. In the spreadsheet, we are notified that, to build a report, we choose fields from the Pivot Table field list. On the Pivot Table Fields task pane, we can choose fields to add to report. In the Pivot Table Fields task pane, we can activate the checkboxes at the left of the fields that we want to insert in the report. At the bottom of the Pivot Tables Fields task pane, we drag the fields to the areas that we want. The areas are filters, columns, rows, and values. We just drag them to the area that we want and drop them off. Whichever field we drag into the area, they appear immediately on the report in the spreadsheet. By dragging and dropping the fields, we can easily rearrange them until we get the result that we want. Depending on the data that we use to create the pivot table, the values in the pivot table field's task pane change. In my example, the value is the sum of revenue. The whole procedure of creating a pivot table seems a little bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it is quite an easy procedure. As mentioned, it all depends on the data that we are using to create the pivot table. Try to experiment with different sorts of data and you will be amazed with what it is capable of.
Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw in this video, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, head down to the comment section and let me know.
Be wise and subscribe.